What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, daily news, pretty much everything going on here in our daily in our daily lives, money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about going on here in our country. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. And don't forget to hit the like button if you find these videos helpful. Also, I'm giving away $1,000 in total if you can guess what's in that box, and I will have a clue to what's in that box at the end of this video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end. I'll give you a clue, and you just might win some money directly from me. And I'm doing it again in December. So make sure to watch all the way to the end to find out and get a clue, and you just might win some money from me. One of the most common questions I've had over the last several days and several weeks is, what are the states or your specific state, whatever state you're from, doing with your stimulus money? Of course, we know California is sending out stimulus checks to about 27 million people in California, which is a lot of people. That's 27 million people. That's almost 10% of the population of the entire country. We have a little bit over 300 million people in the country. And we also have Maine sending out stimulus checks of $285. And I get a lot of people asking, what is our state doing? What is our state doing? You might be from Montana, Michigan, Ohio, Florida. And I get a lot of people saying, what is our state doing? Or our governor will never send out money. Well, I have an update for you on your state. You might be saying, Jimmy, how do you know what state I'm from? Well, I can give you a quick rundown of your states here, all states actually, because I actually found an article with a quick summary of what each state is doing here. And I know a lot of people are interested on what each state is doing or what your specific state is doing. Now, I do want to preface this with a lot of states, last I seen about 80% of the money, somewhere around that, has not been spent yet. So really, like, just Maine just really just decided to send out the $285 stimulus checks just on November 1st. California is still sending out their $600 stimulus checks, and 70 or 80% of the money is just still sitting there. So the majority of states have not really spent their money, or maybe they've spent some of their money and still have a lot of their money, and probably are going to be spending it here in 2022, which is only about a month away. So just keep that in mind. But here's kind of an update on what your state and what all the different states are doing. Remember that counties and cities also got stimulus money from the third stimulus check package. There's about $350 billion going to states, cities, and counties. Cities and counties get to spend their own stimulus money separately. They get to spend it independently of what the governor of the state decides to do. So here's a quick rundown. So yeah, as you can see here, fourth stimulus check update, financial aid offered by these states. Yeah, so the question is your state offering anything? And a lot of states have done different programs, but here's kind of a quick update of what each state is doing, okay? Yeah, let me just scroll here. Alabama, okay? In the state of Alabama, the likelihood of another stimulus check is not high. The state government launched the All Together campaign, but it isn't providing residents or business with much COVID relief. Updates from the Alabama state government are scarce, with the latest news out of the state being that Governor Kay Ivey has signed into law numerous bills that would pave the way for the state to start construction of new prisons using federal aid money. Yeah, good luck. Alaska stimulus. Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy wants to transfer the additional revenues the state is earning this November from increased oil production to the pocket revenues, saying it's entirely within our capacity to help residents manage their bills with the supplemental PFD of $1,236. PFD stands for the Permanent Fund Dividend, and the state government is pushing for this in order to help families. The state is also looking to help residents with their winter heating bills. So looks like there is some stuff going on there from Alaska. Arizona. Arizona, there's bad news as there is little sign of the state offering a new form of financial aid amid the pandemic, with Governor Doug Ducey set to use the federal money to encourage people to find employment rather than paying people not to work. The state's Back to Work program, though, is offering $1,000 payments for unemployed people to go back to work, and $2,000 payments to go back to work full time. So they do have a Back to Work program that offers $1,000 to $2,000 payments to go back to work for the state of Arizona. So, hey, $1,000 to $2,000 payments is pretty decent. Arkansas has even gone to court in a legal battle against its own residents after ending federal unemployment benefits worth $300 per week early. There are 26 states that ended the unemployment benefits, and Arkansas was one of them, suggesting that this isn't a state keen on giving our money to its citizens. But Arkansas is providing the SNAP Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program initiative, which offers support for low income families when it comes to buying food. Better than nothing, right? California, as we know, is offering the Golden State Stimulus Check programs, $600 to $1,100 per person, $1,100 if you have children. We talk about that a lot, so I'm not going to talk about that much here. Colorado. Colorado still has a range of programs for those in need of financial assistance. As the state government put it, despite the arrival of COVID vaccines, the pandemic and its economic consequences still continue to affect Colorado, and we recognize that Coloradans, I think I'm saying that right, still need human services. On the state government website, there are links for people to apply for cash assistance, TANF, child care assistance, employment assistance, energy assistance, which is known as LEAP. I did another video on that for energy assistance and for food assistance, SNAP. Connecticut stimulus. Connecticut's Back to Work program involves a provision of a $1,000 check for Connecticut to eligible applicants who got back into the workforce after 8 weeks off of unemployment. This was announced by Governor Ned Lamont in September 21 and still applies in November 2021. Delaware stimulus. Delaware's aren't receiving a stimulus check in November, but the state has spent $50 million of federal stimulus money on job training for unemployed people and students, deciding that getting people back to work is the best economic stimulus. But see, like in this particular case, $50 million is just a very small portion of the stimulus for Delaware. I believe that each state got over $1 billion, so there's plenty of money still left available, like in this particular case of Delaware, and there's probably many millions of dollars left for each state, just as a quick guess or example. In Florida, there was a forced stimulus check of a $1,000 payment, but this was just for certain employees, such as teachers and first responders. These were one-time payments for workers in Florida and were a thank you to those who stepped up during the pandemic for teachers and first responders in Florida. Hopefully, there'll be more of those as well. Georgia is another state that has looked after educators. The plan was for full-time teachers and administrators to pocket $1,000 and part-time teachers to take $500. Payments were also expected for pre-K educators. Okay, pretty good for Georgia. Hopefully, we see more of these as well. Hawaii stimulus. Aloha, one of my favorite places. In Hawaii, lawmakers sought to offer $2,200 to teachers, yet it was vetoed by the governor, David Ige. Oh, that is not good. No good there. As he said that lawmakers didn't have the authority to instruct the Department of Education on how to utilize the federal money. But Ige has looked to help Hawaiian residents through other payments, and his island's government will use federal funds to offset some everyday costs for Hawaiians, such as in education. So maybe the governor will still step up to the plate. Aloha. Mahalo. Idaho stimulus. In Idaho, taxpayers received a one-time payment refund of $50. But this was just a one-time payment and is already long forgotten by residents who had hoped for a larger payment. Idaho was also one of the first states to withdraw from the federal unemployment benefits, so it has been tough there. Hopefully, we'll see more. In Illinois, there was never any plans for a state level stimulus checks yet, but the state has been generous with several other benefits such as unemployment benefits, child tax credits, and earned income tax credits. I believe we've also had other programs in Chicago as well, if I remember reporting on that as well. So hopefully we'll see more there. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb ended unemployment benefits early, doing so on June 19th. That was well ahead of the September 6th end date that was written in the American Rescue Plan, the third stimulus check package. Job seekers in Indiana took action against the state, and a legal battle broke out. After much towing and froing, the end result was that Indiana kept paying federal unemployment benefits to those eligible until the federal end date. A victory for the people, reluctantly. But this isn't a state looking to provide much federal aid if it can be avoided. But you never know because there's probably a lot of money sitting there. And a lot of these states, when their money is left sitting there, they uh, maybe reluctantly end up sending it out to the people. So I will keep you updated. Iowa, from the start, there were no plans in Iowa for a forced stimulus check to be paid out at the state level. This was also one of the first states to pull out of the federal unemployment programs. Kansas, according to the IRS records, the state of Kansas either refused to pay back or failed to cash $17 million in stimulus checks. 12,921 checks. 12,921 checks. However, there is currently no information on whether Kansas will be offering further stimulus checks. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of these states just have not sent out a lot of information on what they're doing with their money because they haven't done their state budgets yet. And like I said, the vast majority of this money just is sitting there. So there's going to be a lot of probably, especially in 2022, which is only a month away, they're going to be deciding how to spend this money. A lot of a lot of people threw out their stimulus checks by accident. Remember that if you didn't get your first and second stimulus check 1 or 2, or if you didn't get your stimulus checks from your dependents, you can claim that on your 2020 tax returns. You also can file an amended tax return. I believe it's line 30. Okay, you can Google that as well. Also, for stimulus check number 3, you can do that as well. You can claim that on a 2021 tax return when this year is over, which is in like a month. Okay, once this year is over, you can claim stimulus check number 3 if you haven't gotten it. So if you threw it away, or if you didn't even know you threw it away by accident, if you never got it, there's actually probably millions of people that didn't get stimulus check 1, 2, or 3. Or if you didn't get it for your dependent, I've seen a lot of comments that say, yeah, I never got stimulus check number 3 for one of my children. Okay. Or keep in mind, if you had a new baby this year, you can actually get stimulus check number 3 for this year that came out in March and April of this year. You can get a stimulus check for them if they were born this year and all the child tax credits for this year. Even if they were born last month, you can get the stimulus checks for all this year and the child tax credits this year. You just claim it on your tax returns, okay? Speak to your tax preparer or your accountant or tax preparer, whoever knows your tax situation, because they'll know your situation the best. But just know that you can get that. So if you had a new baby this year, you can get $3,600 in child tax credits and the $1,400 stimulus checks, $5,000 between the two of those, just because you listen to me. So if you didn't listen to me, you might not know that, and you literally might have missed out on $5,000. So you can thank me later. Kentucky stimulus. A rise in unemployment in Kentucky led to non-concrete talks of a new round of stimulus payments. That's where Mitch McConnell's from. But there is already good news in the state as a result of the cost of living adjustment of 5.9% increase next year for Social Security recipients, which is the largest increase since 1982, with 1,009,092 Kentucky residents receiving Social Security benefits. Wow, that's a very specific number. That's an exact number, actually. At last count, many Kentucky residents will receive a financial boost this way. All right. Louisiana stimulus. Louisiana has suffered not only from the pandemic, but also from Hurricane Ida. Yeah. As such, There is financial support for those in Louisiana. The Red Cross has worked to get emergency financial assistance to residents whose homes were severely impacted by Hurricane Ida. While survivors may be eligible for a one time payment of $500 from the government, as well as support for temporary housing. If you're affected by this, you probably want to Google Hurricane Ida support. Google that, and you'll probably find information about that. Okay. Maine stimulus. Yeah, just go to Google and just Google that. Maine stimulus. Maine is one of the states not planning another round of stimulus payments before the end of 2021. But again, they probably have the majority of their money available. I'll keep you up to date as more of this information comes out. Maryland stimulus. Maryland was one of the most generous states in terms of virus relief payments, with no state or local taxes levied on unemployment benefits. Okay, pretty cool. The state also gave out a stimulus check between $300 and $500 previously for those who filed for earned income tax credits. I remember that reporting on that previously. Some $700 million were set aside for farm workers and meat packers. I remember reporting on that as well. Massachusetts stimulus. It seems that Massachusetts does not have another stimulus payment coming yet, with much of the virus relief money in recent months having gone towards areas such as housing. Hey, at least they're doing something, providing money towards housing so far. Michigan stimulus. In a bid to boost the local economic situation in Michigan, the state has sent $500 hazard pay bonuses to their teachers. All right. But there was controversy as lawmakers also used the virus relief funds to pay themselves these hazard pay bonuses, which they had to return. Womp, womp, womp. Ah, those good old lawmakers. Well, at least they had to return them. But I think the the teachers got to keep them. $500 hazard pay bonuses to teachers. Minnesota. It has been reported in Minnesota. That's also where the Olympic wrestling champion Gable Steveson is from. I just watched his wrestling match. That the state didn't actually lose any tax money during the pandemic. This means that there is a surplus, and state legislators are working out what to spend on this one. Okay. Some are calling for infrastructure investment, while Minnesota's hope that there could be another stimulus check. Maybe in the future. Mississippi was one of the first states where unemployment benefits stimulus checks ended early, and there are no plans for stimulus checks to be paid out. The conversation right now is instead on how to spend the $1.8 billion from the American Rescue Plan. As I said, each state, I believe, got over $1 billion. So Mississippi probably has maybe the full $1.8 billion available. Missouri residents haven't had much financial support compared to other states. This was even one of the first states to end the federal unemployment program. Montana state officials decided early not to provide more stimulus checks, instead using virus funding for local infrastructure projects, including 86 water and sewer projects around the states. See, I hate when states do this because they just passed this $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. They could have just waited for the infrastructure package, which they're doing all this now. So it's just like, why did they use the state stimulus money when they could have used that for stimulus checks for the people? Because not they knew the infrastructure package was in the works. So there was really no reason to do that, in my opinion. I mean, you could let me know differently, but I don't know. Nebraska. In November 2021, Nebraska's unemployment rate is just 2.2%. Good for you, Nebraska. That was the lowest of all the states, so there's little pressure on state lawmakers to send out more stimulus checks. But they probably still have $1 billion left over, so they have to use the money on something, so we'll see what they use it on. Nevada stimulus. Nevada received a lot of federal funds, but it isn't going out on a forced stimulus check yet. But the child tax credit sees between $3,000 and $3,600 per child handed to almost all working families in Nevada. Half of the credit is going out in monthly payments, which started going out in July and will continue through December, while the remaining half will be given out in 2021 tax refunds. This is for all states. Okay. The state of Nevada is doing very well in terms of its response to the pandemic, with the gaming industry in the state bringing in around $1 billion per month. Although they recognize that stimulus checks are a thing of the past, this may decrease. All right, so not much news there for Nevada. New Hampshire, an American family of 3 with no income in New Hampshire receives a grant worth of $1,086 per month. This is the main financial aid at the state, and I believe this is through the TANF, the TANF, I think it's TANF program. I will be covering that in an upcoming episode, so stay tuned for that. Okay. New Jersey stimulus. A fourth stimulus check is not expected in New Jersey, but residents could be entitled to $500 tax rebates in New Jersey. No additional information on that, but if you're in New Jersey, you might want to Google that. New Mexico stimulus check payments are due by the end of November in New Mexico, as the state is providing stimulus checks to more than 4,000 low income residents. They can collect up to $750 in financial support. People could still apply as recently as October, but that deadline has now passed. Now it's just a wait for the checks to hit bank accounts in November. Okay. The state is providing stimulus checks to more than 4,000 low income residents in New Mexico. Okay, pretty cool. I'm not sure if I knew about that, or maybe I reported on that previously. New York. New York has taken some alternative approaches to supporting residents through this difficult time. The governor has brought in a higher SNAP payment as of October. Okay, pretty cool. In New York, there's also a $2.1 billion fund for undocumented workers. They must have a lot of undocumented workers in New York who were unable to claim financial aid via the federal stimulus. Also, the state will distribute $100 million to workers in the tourism related jobs that have disappeared starting this November, which is now. North Carolina, there's currently no new information for North Carolina yet, but there probably will be in the future. North Dakota, in August, the U.S. Department of Education gave the green light to North Dakota to use its stimulus money to support kindergarten through grade 12 schools and students with $101 million allocated to the state in this area. Some payments took time to come out, though, and some of those eligible are still waiting. Ohio. There's no plans yet for a stimulus, although the state has organized a number of alternative initiatives to help residents, and these can be found on the state's website. I also read recently that there was money for college students. I remember reporting on that recently, although I don't exactly remember what it was. But if you're from Ohio, maybe you remember hearing about it because I remember reporting on that. God, I just go through so much information that I don't retain every single detail of it, but I do try to retain a lot of it. Oklahoma stimulus. Oklahoma's approach was to try to ease unemployment numbers, which is why the state offered a one-time payment of $1,200 to those who got off unemployment and went back to work. So Oklahoma has a $1,200 back to work stimulus check program. Oregon, there has been no new updates for Oregon yet. Pennsylvania hasn't offered new stimulus payments yet, considering the state reportedly has $7 billion in unspent stimulus funds. This is causing some anger. Wow, Pennsylvania has $7 billion in unspent federal stimulus fund. They're probably accumulating a lot of interest, although I don't know what they're spending on interest, but if it's just sitting in a checking or savings account, interest is like 0.02, but that's a lot of money. So maybe Pennsylvania, and again, a lot of these states might be getting stimulus in the future because I think all states got over $1 billion. Pennsylvania is one of the larger states, $7 billion in unspent federal funds. As I said, all these states have a lot of unspent money. And probably when 2022 rolls around, which is only 30 days from now, about a little bit over 30 days, we're going to probably be seeing a lot of stimulus programs like this. So I'll keep you up to date here on this channel. Rhode Island, workers in Rhode Island were hoping for a forced stimulus check of $1,400 for Social Security recipients, but it has not come to fruition yet. South Carolina, though Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan Act, or through it, $8.8 billion was allocated to South Carolina. A lot of that money will go to education, but there is still some relief money that hasn't yet been allocated. Quote, we've got a lot of money we can use, and we're in a great position to make some big steps, some transformative steps, says Governor Henry McMaster. So there's still a lot of money left. We'll see. South Dakota was one of the only states that chose not to receive federally funded $300 weekly unemployment benefits in the form of the lost wage assistance, which was up to 6 weeks. So that's the only update from South Dakota right now. In Tennessee, there has been a fresh round of payments. There have been a fresh round of payments, but only to some workers. A bill was passed by Tennessee state legislator to give teachers hazard pay to show appreciation to get educators the pandemic. Full-time teachers were to get $1,000 and part-time teachers $500. Okay, that's pretty awesome. These checks were due to be received before the end of 2021, so these checks should arrive in November or December if they haven't already for Tennessee. There's probably still a lot of money left over. Those type of checks don't deplete nearly anything close to what the state has, so just keep that in mind. Texas, nothing statewide has been confirmed yet, but some school districts are increasing their teachers' pay. For example, Fort Worth and Arlington will increase the pay of district employees by 4%, kind of hazard pay stimulus checks as well. Denton and Mansfield will increase pay by 2%, while Denton employees will also give a bonus of $500 checks. Utah, in July, it was announced that Utah households will receive the most valuable stimulus checks in the third round of payments, with the average check worth $2,784. That plus the fact that the state has the second lowest unemployment rate means that no more stimulus checks are planned. I'm not sure exactly what they're referencing there. If you're from Utah, maybe you know, maybe comment down below in the comment section. Or Google it if you're from Utah and you want to know what it is about. Vermont, it might not be a normal stimulus check as we've come to know them, but there is money to be made in Vermont for those who relocate to the state. Piqued my interest there. The new worker relocation grants will reimburse up to $7,500 to those who moved to the state after July 1 of 2021. While this money will be available for those who moved to the state as remote workers as of February of 2022 for Vermont. So if you want to move to Vermont, you can get up to $7,500. Interesting. Virginia, there's no statewide plans yet, but one small town in Virginia is planning to give their residents some more money for themselves. Washington, despite calls, the state has cooled talks as of yet. No more information. West Virginia, there were thousands of stimulus checks that were left unclaimed. The state government pushed for people to check their eligibility, and it is still possible to do so. Elsewhere, the state government is focusing on helping residents in serious need through emergency housing vouchers. Wisconsin brought in the Wisconsin Emergency Rental Assistance Program earlier in 2021, while the state also has emergency assistance program that could see in-need families given a one-off payment. Families at low and medium risk across the U.S. have been receiving financial aid in 2021 through stimulus checks to the federal government. These payments have now stopped But a number of 50 states have launched their own payouts to help residents. Financial support in the US isn't just limited to stimulus checks, there are also extended benefits, child tax support, and other tax breaks that I will cover here on this channel as we go forward. Also, Wyoming is here. Article's a little wonky on Wyoming. It's kind of cut off here a little bit. We have the governor here. He says, I have signed an executive order to provide tax relief to Wyoming businesses. It removes unemployment insurance benefit claims for much of 2020, provides tax credits for employers who experienced increased unemployment taxes in 2021. And that looks like it for Wyoming at this point. So I will keep you up to date with all new states, cities, and counties. As I said, the majority of this money hasn't been spent yet. So if your state just hasn't mentioned anything, um, honestly, probably 70 or 80% of this money hasn't been spent yet. So I'll keep you up to date as they offer more. Hopefully, states will offer more stimulus checks and stimulus programs as we go forward. Okay. Also, rent assistance and mortgage assistance is available now in the majority of states, and there's going to be more available in this next stimulus package. $25 billion of rent assistance is available in this next stimulus package. I'll link you to videos on how to do that here in just a moment. Now, next, the next clue in the What's in the Box contest here. I'm giving away $1,000 in total here before Thanksgiving. I'm going to do it again in December. Just kind of my way of giving back to our community here for the holidays. The way it works is if you can guess what's in the box from my clues, if you guess correctly, you're entered into the pool of people that have guessed correctly. From there, I'm going to have 10 people picked at random to win $100 each for $1,000 here before Thanksgiving. Okay. To guess, all you need to do is comment down below. You can guess as many times as you want. If you want to see past clues, just go watch the past videos. Okay. Each video before this pretty much has one clue. So if you're missing a clue, just go watch previous videos. Okay. I think that pretty much sums up everything. This is clue number 8. Okay. Clue number 8 to what's in that box is this item is from a famous movie. Okay. This item is from a famous movie. Okay. This item is from a famous movie. So if you know what the item is, comment down below. That was clue number 8. There's 2 more clues. Comment down below. You can guess as many times as you like. And let me know if you think you know what it is. So make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. Also, click the bell icon after subscribing so you get notifications when we go live. Subscribing is completely free to do so. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love doing this game. It's a fun game. Whether you win, lose, or draw, guess correctly or not, it's a fun game to see how fast you can guess correctly if you guess correctly. And we're going to do this again in December as well. Who knows? We've done this a lot in the past as well. I like giving out to. Let me know if you've guessed correctly in the past as well. And it's also fun to see if you've guessed correctly, how fast you guessed correctly. So, yeah, I'll be opening that box. So you'll see what's in the box here in a few videos, obviously after the 10th clue. And I'm going to show the winning comments, the people that were picked at randomly on screen, so you'll know who the winners are. And then I'll contact the winners to give them the money. So just everything's fair. Winners are picked at random. So I just the easiest way to do it is just to have them picked at random. So, but I'm gonna open the box on screen so you can see what's in the box. And yeah, I just love doing this contest. This is a pretty. Not only is it interesting, it's fun for me. It's fun for viewers. I've had so many people say throughout because we've done this before. That how much fun this contest is. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here. So you can click here to watch my newest video next. You can click this top video here to find out about how to get rent assistance. You can get up to 12 months of your rent paid from the third stimulus check package. And there's going to be more available in the next stimulus package, so you want to know how to do it. And this bottom video is how to get homeowners assistance. There's $9.9 billion available for homeowners. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.